A very good morning, afternoon, and evening to all of you who have joined us today. I hope you guys can hear me well and clear. It's another, I should say, a Friday night here in India, and thank you for being a true patrons to ProApp. The workshop today is around auditing your designs, and we have Animesh with us to help us unravel this. Animesh is an HFI certified design architect at Wipro who is responsible for the internal and external client applications. He has led user experience development for various features within the applications. What makes Animesh happy is every time he pens down his thoughts and give us shape to what we call a website or an app. A very warm welcome to you, Animesh. The stage is all yours.
Thank you for this opportunity, first of all, and hello everyone. How are you guys? Okay, so I can share my screen, right, to them? Cool. Okay, so guys, what do you see over here?
It's a dustbin.
Okay, yes, I can see it now. Dustbin, yes, dustbin. And it has been divided into two parts, which says plastic cups and lids and everything else. But the bottom line is it's going in the same dustbin, right? That's what the thing is. What's the next one? It says success, ticket created successfully. And what is the sign of success? Do you see? Cross. Come on. This is something that we cannot expect out of designers or people. Yes, wrong icons exactly. What was that? Abdul. Thank you, Abdul. And then we have the very next one, which is, okay, this. What is it? Yes, it should be here. Any guess? Wrong icon again? Or maybe wrong design again, I would say. Yes, sanitizer dispenser. Who was there? Raven Sai. Hey, thank you, buddy. So it's a sanitizer dispenser altogether. So one of my counterparts in Germany, he was in Düsseldorf. He was going through it and he saw people trashing out, and he was going to trash it out as well. And he later realized that it's not a dustbin; it's a dispenser. Okay, so yeah, what am I here for? Okay, guys. Well, first of all, I would like to thank everyone for coming down and being a part of this workshop today. I'll be talking about building blocks, auditing your design, or maybe auditing your software application depending upon the usability, and hence usability heuristics. So you must be thinking, what do we have to learn about heuristics? That too in a software application design or any product design. Well, everybody knows design. And the answer to this is another question. To what extent do you know design? I want to know, because if you have created any design, how is it usable again and again? How is it scalable again and again? That should be the right question. Because when you create any kind of product, that is required to be scalable, right? The basic thing. Okay. And that's why heuristics comes into picture. And now you must be thinking, what is heuristics? Does anybody know what is heuristics? Srinivas, worst UX. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Sakshi Putra. Great. Thank you. So we all know heuristics is a process or a method. Okay. And how do we pronounce it? Now people ask me that question all the time. So it's just like the way you pronounce hero and stick. We do not say heuristic. We cannot say that. Yeah, hero stick. So you can call that as well. But yes, it's altogether a process or a method wherein you can actually start evaluating or validating the process or the kind of software application which you're creating. So in short, what is usability heuristics? If I have to define it, how can I define it? It's an inspection methodology to identify design issues. And in order to do that, you have to simulate yourself as a real user. Okay, as in खुद ही user बन जाओ and then you start designing things. Okay, because based on that, when you start designing things or start creating a product, that's when you are a real designer. Okay, so that's what it is. But a lot of people, they ask me this question, what's in it for me, especially developers. Okay, so I'm a developer, I'm a designer, like, I'm a product owner, I'm a tester, scrum master. Okay, they all ask this question for me, and later on I asked them, in return I asked them this question, that who do they work for? And they usually say that they work for their client. But I tell them, I recorrect them, no, you do not work for your client. Client gives you money, definitely, but you technically work for the end users. That's who you work for. Okay. So if you go ahead and technically go ahead and see what's in it for me again. So with the help of heuristics, you know, you get to identify your user-friendly issues. Okay, and you get proper explanation of those issues using those heuristics. Then you can assess the severity of the problem, and then based on that, you will be able to come up with a solution. Okay, and that is going to, that's a good motivation altogether to go ahead and start designing something new. I hope people are catching me up. I hope people are understanding what I'm saying. Yes, no, Abdul, Revant, Daniel, Sakshi, Srinivas. Okay, cool. Great. So what should be the next question? Because I know what it's in it for me, but why do I want to use heuristics? That's a very good question, right? Why do I want to use heuristics? As simple as that. I have other stuffs as well to measure it. Why heuristics? Like, I know heuristics has been defined, 25 years back, not 25, I would say somewhere around 33 years back by Don Norman. We are using the same heuristics. Yes, we are using the same heuristics. But why are we using it? Because it helps in improving the strategies. What will happen is, if you go ahead and start using heuristics, it will help you in improvising your strategies, and you can provide solutions to problems that are different from strategies of logic and probability. Let me tell you that. You cannot go behind logic and probability. Sometimes you also need to think about in business point of view as well. And when you start thinking as an entrepreneur, or when you start thinking about your own business, you don't only think about logic and probability, you also think about what the user wants. Okay, and that's what heuristics is, and that's what heuristics is focusing on. Okay, so I hope people are getting this point now. Yes, empathy. That's where we have who said that? That was Srinivas, right? Thank you, Srinivas. That is an important part. Okay. So finally, what are the advantages? If I want to go ahead and find out what are the advantages, the very first thing, the primary target is pointing or revealing out the low frequency problems. That's my best feeling. If you have any problems going in the existing application, heuristics is gonna go ahead and point it out, and this can be implemented at a very early stage in the project. So that's the best thing. Okay. And rest, we know it is faster, cheaper, more flexible than a usability test. Now, one question for all of you. Can you tell me how is it flexible than usability testing? No, it's not because I'm saying it. Tell me why it is. Why it is flexible uh, than any other than usability testing. Okay, no answer. Okay. So the reason why it is flexible, first of all, you for this, you don't have to go behind a user or schedule a user for any kind of appointment. You can just set, you can look at any design or any product, and if this heuristics is there, is feeded in your mind, okay, then you can just like this, you can come out with the problems related to it. Okay, so that's the best part. That's the best part. On top of it, you don't have to create much of documentation for the same. You just have to carry a piece of paper or just open your Microsoft Word. You can just point it out and you can just relate it to the heuristics that we all have. Okay. So when we talk about heuristics, now I'm talking about heuristic, the real heuristics. So it was created by someone at once upon a time. Okay. And we all know who created it. It was Don Norman who created it. And there were like 10 usability heuristics he created, which included visibility of system status, match between system and real world, user control and freedom, and so on and so forth. Consistency and standards, that's another one. So error prevention again. So these are the things that we already know. Okay, let me just go ahead and find out what you all have. Don't have to recruit participants, schedule them. Yes, I would say that's a nice reason. Usability is done with is done with participants. Yes, exactly. Less dependency on external factors. True. It filters out shortcoming before the design shifts. Exactly. We are looking out for those shortcomings that might come up in the future. And it is now, since we all are working in a sprint environment or an agile environment, I would say, okay, I I technically do not believe in getting things done faster. If we go ahead and try to go, if we go ahead with the design, it's very much important for us to go ahead and look at the shortcomings. Otherwise, you won't have time to implement the design and think about the design, because design itself will take a lot of time of yours. Okay. So yeah, nice answer, Raymond. Sai, that was a nice one. So we all know what heuristics is now and who created it, right? Heuristic evaluation, so called. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, I would. Yes, great. Thank you, Abdul. So I'm just going to give you a little improvised version of heuristics now. This is something, this is, now let me tell you, now I would like to introduce you with a different set of heuristics which has been extracted from the common heuristic evaluation, which we all know. Okay. Now this has been authored by Borge Christensen. Okay. He's one of the designer. He's one of the, I would say, someone like Don Norman, who is usability analyst altogether, and he has created 9 heuristics, which is quite common, and we all practice it all the time. Okay, even if we do not know what heuristics are. Okay, so what we all know we have 10 defined by Don Norman in the year 1990. Okay, but over here we have now reduced it down to 9, which is like simplicity, consistency, discoverability, structure. So they all are one word. That's the best part. It will be really easy for all of us to go ahead and remember it. And if anybody go ahead and ask me how are you going to define this particular issue, you can just definitely say that it comes under simplicity issue. It comes under consistency issue. It comes under discoverability issue. And in that way you can solve a lot of design problems. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to go ahead and work on or share some light on five of the heuristics. I'm going to go ahead and share some ideas over there. Okay, and not only ideas, I'm going to tell them what they are. Okay, yes, no, maybe any questions, guys? Not aware of some of them. Okay, Ankita Adhikari, yes. Not aware of we have ergonomics and the usability heuristics that we already have, but it's not being discussed in that way. So ergonomics plays an important role. Tolerance is something, and affordance is something, and control is something. No, control is there in that one, the other heuristics that we always follow. Okay, this is a refined version of those. Okay, so that we should remember just like that, and it would be easier for us to go ahead and locate it as well. We cannot keep on trying to, like, because, for example, one of the heuristic is help users recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. It's a huge it's like one line sentence to go ahead and share the information with the client. So it would be nicer if we go ahead and give information as a clarity, it comes into clarity issue, and this is required to be taken care of. So yeah, definitely we are going to go ahead and share some examples related to all the heuristics that we have. But as of now, I'll go ahead and share only 5. Now, I want to know your interest as well in the future, like how you're gonna go ahead with others as well. So how is ergonomic relevant with digital products? It's definitely, so ergonomics is related with almost everything. Uh, Digital products, when you're talking about digital products, you are talking about, for example, if there is any product related to travel. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about how their payment structures by default they had created in the past, but having a proper flow in the payment structure comes under ergonomics. Okay. So I'll let you know, definitely, with detail. But as of now, let's focus on the first 5, and then based on the interest level, we can find it out. We can find a room to schedule control, affordance, tolerance, and ergonomics. But I have a lot of examples related to it. Abdul said yes, clarity, sir, clarity. Okay, I could not understand that, Abdul. Okay, can we move ahead? Yes,
Yeah,
no,
actually, well, I think he was talking about the clarity in the screen which is mentioned. He wanted to understand more about it.
okay, that one. Okay, so I'll come to the clarity part as well. So let's go ahead with this one we are going to work on. So the very first thing that we come across is simplicity. Now, when we are talking about simplicity, how things simpler, how to make things simpler, that is something that we focus on. So we are trying to make it as simple as possible, making sure that things are not overwhelming, and making sure there is no redundancy as well. Okay, that's what simplicity is. So simple by itself as a definition where you are trying to make it as simple as you can. That's the very first part of the heuristics. Okay, so let me just go back again. This is simplicity. It's a simple circle, nothing external, no redundancy, and it's not overwhelming as well. Okay, so in simplicity, there are 2 3 parts. The number one is the very first one is default settings. Okay, so when we are talking about simplicity and when we are talking about default settings, in order so we have to understand over here that default status, they promote cognitive ease. Okay, it gives a different kind of mindset, and they can help to remove friction from the process of completing the task by taking care of burden of choices of the user. Okay, I'll give a very good example to that. So how can a system by itself can take off a burden of choices from your shoulders? So technically speaking, uh, let me just put it a very good example over here. So this is a this is nothing but a spa related uh, website altogether. So when we are talking about spa related website, okay, over here we are talking about uh, the good defaults which make it easy. So what are the good defaults over here? I would say the rooms, I would say the adults. Can you see rooms and adults? They are already pre-selected. So there would be one room and there'll be two adults in it. It is for a couple. The dates are selected all by themselves. That is also a default status. Okay, so it's a very good example. Hotel sites or travel sites, which Go IBO is one of them. Make My Trip is also one of a very good example of default settings. So it comes under simplicity, and it makes your life a little, rather user's life a little easy. I hope you got this point. Yes, no, any questions related to this? Okay, I would consider silence, I would consider it as no, so I'll move ahead. So uh over here, this was the default settings part. Let's come to the second part, which is simple interactions. Okay, so when we are talking about simple interactions, I would say less is more. So any interaction with unnecessary action steps increase the time, and it increases the risk of error as well. So reducing the complication is the fundamental principle to render the easy use of application. So there are very good examples over here having a simple interaction. Number one is YouTube. YouTube is one of the very good example. I think I have that over here. Yes. So YouTube had a different kind of menu. The very first kind of menu they had was like a hamburger menu. I'm talking about way back in the year 2014. Okay, they had the hamburger menu. Okay, and they improvised it further, because hamburger menu was having a huge list of uh, I mean menu items, which made user feel tiresome sometimes, and make them feel a little bit like, no, there are too many contents to go ahead and read it. I don't want to go ahead and do that. Okay, so YouTube came, and that time, and I'm talking about 2014, when 2013-14, that time hamburger menu was introduced, I believe. The person who introduced hamburger menu earned a lot, definitely. So the very second thing YouTube did was to introduce a tab menu at the top. Okay, that was like the most easiest thing that they could go ahead and come up with, in order to make it more accessible for the users and easy, and they do not have to click on anything else to understand all options that they can go ahead with. Okay, so now over here, the thing was, menu was into a question. Okay, now the third thing that they have come up with now is a bottom navigation. Now with the bottom navigation, the concentration of the user is focused towards the content of the YouTube. They do not look at the bottom navigation that much. They have a little bit idea at in the mind, but they are not much bothered about it nowadays, because they are happy the kind of application they have now, because bottom navigation plays a very important role nowadays. Everything, like most of the applications now, you will find a lot of bottom navigations being used. So that's a very good thing. For example, uh, other than YouTube, I would say Amazon Prime. When you go ahead and play any video, over your phone, okay, through Amazon Prime, you will see most of the things are under bottom navigation, especially in e-commerce industry. A lot of people, they are using bottom navigation. I have not found much of that thing in Amazon as a website, because they have a huge list of content. Okay, and they have some of the valid reasons why they don't want to go ahead with. They have bottom navigations, definitely, but their their concept of uh, design has been changed now. They are going backwards design. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so the very next example that I have is iOS, the evolution of iOS home screen, from what iOS was and what iOS is now. The home screen, everybody can relate to that. Okay, so this is a very, very good example. Okay. So when we talk about simple interactions, okay, these are the changes that we have made. But what about actual interaction design? When we actually go ahead and make the interaction design, we haven't spoken about that yet. So let me show some examples over there too. So can you see this design wherein you see a newspaper on your phone and you have to click on read more to read more? I mean, pressing the read more to read more. So read more button is an unnecessary button and users should just be able to scroll. All right. So this is like an unnecessary interaction given, which I don't think is simple. It's like, why do you want to have another button? Okay. So Santosh Kashyap. Okay. Spotify, yes. With bottom navigation, yes. Amazon app is now cleaner now. Yes, it is. It is better than before. They have introduced a couple of design practices which have helped them to do that. Okay. So it's going on good. Now, the very next interaction that we come across is, oh God, what a drop down over here. Now, what I know is a drop down is not the simplest form of interaction at all. Okay. Entering birth year could have been really easy. I don't want to find when my great grandfather was born. That's what scroll downs are, right? When you keep on scrolling, you will find 1907, 1906. My God, does it like, no, do we have to go there? No. Nowadays, the simple interaction could be just entering the date. That's the most simple interaction that could ever be. Yes, you can have an option to go ahead and select the dates as well. Okay, but having that interaction, I would not say, not I as a person, I would say users won't like it. They won't keep on like scrolling for the small input that they have to make. They can just type it, as simple as that. Okay, so drop down is not a simplest form of interaction. So when we talk about simplicity, we not only talk about simplest interaction, we also talk about having a limited number of options where we are talking about when we are talking about simplicity. Just showing the important stuff and showing them a limited number of options. So what happens is when you are actually thinking that let's go ahead and put this, let's go ahead and put that, let's go ahead and put almost everything. Okay. And that's where the difference between designers and developers, they come into existence. And I keep on telling it to a lot of people. How are designers and developers different? Yes, a huge difference is there, but there should not be any kind of ego clash because of that. Uh, Developers, they have maximum possibilities with the features. They can go ahead and help you with maximum number of um, possibly, possible interactions, to be honest. Okay, so they work on possibilities. How designers, they come and they come up with a better design, and how designers are different from developers. Designers, they work on probability. So when we designers, we are working on probability, I know out of 100 interactions, out of 100 simple features, the feature number 51 is good compared to all of them, because we have gone over there and we have designed it there on a personal level. Okay, so we know that feature is good. Okay, but over here, when we go ahead and leave this thing to a developer, it is going to become, the whole thing going to become really, really expensive. And you don't want to invest that much money to choose one interaction, actually time and money both. So that's why. So over here, when we are talking about just the essential and the limited number of options, so more options means more considerations. When we are talking about simple design, so it's better to have less number of options. So our brain can handle only few pieces of information. Our brain is like, my brain is not that strong, bro. I keep forgetting things. Okay, at any given point of time. So we can, so when you put all the choices in front of the customer at once, okay, they will move back. They'll be like, oh, what the heck is this? I do not understand. So you do not want to get that part. Okay. Now after seeing this, I forgot what I have to buy. My brain cannot handle this. This is something when I enter the grocery store and I'm like, is it a grocery store? It's just like, what am I looking at? Because you'll be busy watching or seeing what exactly you're looking at than thinking what you have come to buy. So yeah, you almost forget to buy. Okay. Second is this one. This is like one of the applications that I came across. It's like this page, they try to sell courses online. Okay. But there's a lot of non-essential info. Okay. There's no image definitely, but there are a lot of non-essential info. So you can hardly notice the courses. So it was like, big no-no for me. So here we have, this was the last example. Could you guys tell me if you are able to understand the simplicity version, or maybe, yeah, the simplicity version of this heuristics? Yes, no, maybe. We just now finished the simplicity version. What simplicity is? It includes simple interaction and default. Simplicity. Yes. Got it. Thank you, Pooja. So let me just go ahead and get into our next topic, which is consistency. So now the word itself is enough for people to understand what consistency is all about. Guys, tell me what is consistency all about. You can write it down in different ways and tell me what consistency is all about. We have Pooja, we have Chitpali, Abdul, Raven Sai. Guys, come up. I wish you could have spoken, but right now, repeating it regularly. Can repetition, okay, I would say, Santosh, repeating is a wrong word, we would say, not an appropriate word, but yeah, it is close. Consistency, yes, it's repeating. Successive results, patterns, we can say yes. Uniformity, yes, that's the word I'm looking out for. Thank you. Uniformity in the experience. Use of similar font. Yes, Pooja, exactly. So when we are talking about consistency, we are talking about the uniform and recognizable presentation and interaction. Now, this is what is expected out from the customer, not a business, just a customer I'm talking about, because they want everything to be registered in their brain. Okay. So I have a very good example over here, and that is the very first sub heuristics part of the consistency. Now, when we go ahead and look into the design over here, this is definitely part of one of the social medias that I have an access to. Okay. Uh, People expected a name over here. Sorry, people expected a name of a user name. Okay, are you a proper username and who this belongs to? But the output was something else. They could not verify, they could not understand that this part is defined as the username, and due to which the site visit was comparatively got reduced. So this is a very good example. We have to accomplish the user expectations at whatever. So the user interface and the system response must be consistent with the user expectations. So the users have a mental model how the website works, and before even they get into it, they understand what the website is all about. So that's smart they are. Okay. Now I'll take you to another complex part. I thought I could come out with something really easy. Okay, but this is something I would like to give you an information with. Okay. So I would like to, so the first is user expectation. The second is the internal consistency. Then we have external consistency, and then we have consistency over time. Okay. So what happens is when you are using, for example, you are in a B2B or maybe B2C e-commerce platform. Okay. And in one of and in the front page, as in the landing page, you have this design, and in the inside and one of the inside pages have this design, but the meaning of both the designs are same, as in both the designs are giving out the same data. So when we go ahead and ask for the same data, when we go ahead and ask for the data, they go ahead and give the same kind of data. Okay. So what I find over here is I find that both the designs are giving the same data, but the design is not consistent. This information is in the landing page, and the same information is one of the inside pages. Okay. Rather, we could say that this information is much more detailed, but the design wise, it could have been same so that people can recognize it as well. We have given go ahead, and we have gone ahead and said view all, and you get to this part of the application, but technically it was not at all recognizable for the users when they went ahead and clicked on view all, and when they saw this, they were like overwhelmed with the new design, and they could not relate it as well. So the proper user expectation was not met. So what do you mean by internal consistency? Let me just go back and talk about it. So what do you mean by internal consistency? We talk about uniform elements, features should be presented and act in a consistent manner on the same website. So we have a different information. Sorry, we have a different design over here, which is not meeting those proper expectations of users. Now you could see I have given, I've mentioned external texture over here. So over here, I would like to say what I would like to mention what external texture is all about. External texture is about the user interface design in accordance and conventions. Okay, and that external texture sometimes flops, as in it does not work that much good with the user. Okay, so when we are talking about an application which has two different designs of the same feature, okay, then at that point of time, definitely it's not consistent for sure. But the external texture related to, I would say, how can I say it? But yes, what will happen is they will eventually learn that this is how it is. Learning is the external texture over here. Okay, which I would say, okay, if that is the intention, if that is the mental model you would like to go ahead and give it to the user, then it is okay. Okay, you don't have any other option other than that. Okay, so yes, Abdul said, use of the elements. Okay, I think it was for the external texture part, right, Abdul? So technically speaking, external texture is creating a mental model, a website creating a mental model of a user. One line answer. Okay. So there are a lot of websites, they go ahead and do that. Amazon is one of them. They go ahead and they have created your mental model of that particular application, how it works. And based on that, we expect other applications to work as well. Okay. So yes, that's what the external texture is all about. Consistency has two: internal consistency and external texture. In external texture, they create a mental model, And internal consistency is something that you expect as a user expectations. You go ahead and expect that the design should be similar. I hope you got it. Yes, no, maybe. I know it's a little complicated stuff, but it is. Yes, got it. Thank you. Okay. So the very next part that we come into is the discoverability part. So far we have finished simplicity and we have finished the consistency part. In the simplicity, we learned how to make it as simple as possible. It should not be overwhelming. It should not be redundant. In consistency, we learned about how uniform and recognizable it is and how it is meeting the user expectations. So what happens in the discoverability part? In discoverability part, how you want to go ahead and feature your features, as in, I would like to say, how your feature should be visible to the user or not hidden to the user. That's come into picture. So let me just go ahead and help you with a definition. So all of you, like, I'm sure you guys are a big fan of Harry Potter. You know how cloak of visibility is, right? So the definition wise cloak of visibility, when you go ahead and wear that cloak of visibility, you get disappear. It means that you want to be hidden. So that's how the definition of cloak visibility is. So all design elements and features should be visible, not hidden, designed and positioned so that they are easy to spot. Okay. So when we go ahead and think of an example, can you guys think of any example right now? Maybe easy to find global search. Yes. Easy to find global search is also a very good option. So when we go ahead with the examples, very first sub heuristics I find is visibility. So user interface are based on visibility, right? And if items are hidden, users should either look for them or remember their location. So it is easier to recognize than to remember. So do you remember which part of heuristics of Don Norman did I just mention? So it's the ninth part. Is the ninth uh, usability heuristics, which non-Dorman introduced it as like help user recognize and diagnose and recover from the errors. Okay, that's what we are doing over here. Now in the present design, when you go ahead and see colors, you have to scroll up and down. Okay, that's the job which you're required to do. So every time, for example, especially, I'll tell you, this is something which I've seen with my wife. She comes across this kind of usability issues. I cannot tell her that, this is the usability issue, this is the UX problem. Okay. And she'll be like, it's a pathetic website. That's what she's gonna say, so brand also gets affected because of these kind of issues. So they have to scroll it down to find more colors. And when they come back again, they forget that where was that color positioned. So that's the kind of discomfort as a user you don't want to come across. So what could be the solution of this? Colors that are used to colors user need to compare are not, over here. It was not easily available. So now when I have gone ahead and reduced the size of it and compiled together, you can see, I can see all the colors at one shot. This is better than, I hope, I think people would agree with this, that this particular design is better than this design, because you are able to see most of the colors over here than the colors being displayed over here. Yes, recognition over recall. Another thing that you have is over here. Can anybody tell me what could be the problem over here? Guys, you have two screens where you go ahead and see a card. Okay. You see all those details, and the next screen where you can go ahead and book a flight. So what is the lot of stuff to navigate? Okay, it means it is not simple. So that comes into simplicity. Could you please define it in a way of discoverability or maybe visibility? No. Okay, let me just give you a hint over here. Okay, I think I did not give, maybe it's my fault. My SaaS over here is booking, travel site altogether. Not sure where to go. Not sure where to go for what. Variable. Okay, who's variable? I do not know. But yeah, you are close. Not sure where to get back to home screen. Now that's a good question, Aniket. If it's a travel site, why it is showing a credit card? Very good question. So for example, when you are in a travel page and you have already booked a site, so you have already booked a flight. Okay. Now you get into the payment page, right? In the payment page, it should show the card details and the card itself. And it should also show the flight details. You cannot see the flight details over here at all. So if you have canceled the plan, so that's what it is. In order to, that's the answer. The option to view the flight details are not there. And if you maybe you want to go ahead and view the flight details, you have to open the hamburger menu to do that. So that's, yeah, very nice catch. No breadcrumbs. Yeah, no breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are not there. Exactly. So let's go to the next part of discoverability. My God, sometimes like when I pronounce it, I feel like whether I would be able to pronounce it or not. Okay. So the next part of discoverability is focus and noticeability. So the location of elements, sometimes what happens is the location of elements are difficult to spot. Okay. This may be because an element is located in the periphery of the user field of view, and or another element that seems like bit. We get a lot of distraction. So our focus is like very much into the bigger stuff, not the smaller stuff. Okay. Few people they have more towards smaller stuff than bigger stuff, but those are blessed people. Like Indian women. They are blessed to have that God has given them senses like that. They can see big things and they can see small things as well. But we guys, we can see only big things. So just no offense to the ladies. Please don't take it in that way. So how can I go ahead and find an example for this? So there's another option over here. Now, this is one of the options when you go ahead and book a flight from the hotel itself. Okay. Now, the next step which you can see just below book is not noticeable. Can you see this? Can you see the next step? This is actually not noticeable. So because the button is not noticeable, rather the book and slat that is visible, you know, the user is not able to move forward with the design, as in with the website, not the design, with the website. Okay, so yeah, button should be different color or at least more prominent. Exactly, Jose, you're right. Uh, the very next example is with the noticeable thingy is the button, the delete button. Can you see the delete button on the extreme left hand side? Okay, people did not expect the delete button on the left hand side. Left hand side. People expect features like a checkbox or an arrow, a chevron arrow, something like that. They expect those kind of things. Okay, because those are like uh, the important things that you do not want to click on by mistake. So what would happen if you click on by mistake? It is going to delete. Okay, so we want the whole delete button which we see on the left hand side to be on the right hand side. Okay, so this was the part of focus and noticeable. The second part of the focus and noticeable. Sorry, second part of the discoverability, that is focus and noticeable. Now we are going to come to the third part of discoverability, which is scroll support design. Okay, now scroll support is something that we all do. Okay, nowadays people they are into a misconception that a website should be less scrollable. Okay, so just to give them a little bit of gyan about scroll support design is large images, boxes, horizontal lines, and white air can give users an experience of reaching the website's bottom. Okay. Uh, illusion of completeness altogether, I'm talking about. Okay. And thus helping them to stop scrolling to further down the page. Okay. You can have as much as scroll you want. That is not a problem, but you should have an element to stop that scroll. And that could be anything, a white air or horizontal lines, boxes, image boxes. You can make them feel that this is the end of the website or the page of the website. Same goes with the applications as well. Quick footer is available to make them realize why uh, this is the end of to make them realize this is the end of the web page. Okay, I'll give you a very good example. So this is the first scroll of a website. Okay, this is an airplane or maybe travel agent website altogether. Okay, so when I go ahead and see this website, I see a white space over here. This is scroll 0. Let me tell you that. I haven't scrolled it yet. But when I move forward, this is scroll 1. So there's no relation between scroll 1 and there's no relation between scroll 0 and scroll 1. That's the major defect. People are feeling that this website is a simple image website, and maybe if I go ahead and click on any of the options, it is going to take me to another page. But that is not true. Over here also, we see, after we go ahead and scroll 1, we see images piling up, which is like good. Okay, there are more contents over here. I feel good. Okay. But later on, there is no stop to this. It continues till the end. So I do not know where this particular website ends. And again, how I do not know? This is scroll 3. It's still continuing. So scroll 0, I found a big image with a space below. Scroll 1, gave me a start of another content. Rather, scroll 0 should have given me a start of another content. Let me try to give you the correct version. Over here itself, you should have known that, oh, there is another content for which I need to go ahead and look down. Okay. So you should have gone ahead and, then you would have been ready. Oh, okay, there is more content. Now, when you go over here, you say, oh, okay, there is more content. That is by default, you got to know because you by mistake, you clicked on a scroll. Okay. This is scroll 1. And when you go with scroll 2, again, you will say, oh my God, it's like non-ending. What it is. Then again, you go here and do scroll 3, you see, oh my God, the content is never ending. So this is something we need to avoid in any kind of application. So nowadays, applications, when you guys are working with huge companies like Accenture, you guys are working with, there are huge companies like Google as well. Okay. So they go ahead and make sure that they inform the user that there is a content below when they're scrolling. And do not be afraid of scrolling at all. Do not be afraid of introducing a scroll for anything. Introducing a scroll for anything means that there is more information, which is good for you. Unless there is an information, please go ahead and introduce scroll. But when people tell you that we should not have too much of scroll, it's totally wrong. You can have as much as a scroll you want to have. Social media, social media thinks they are having maximum number of scrolls. Why did they come up with the maximum number of scrolls? Because they wanted to come up with a timeline. They wanted to tell you, okay, there's a timeline to it. That's the reason why we want to introduce a lazy loading over here. That's the reason why it's very much important. Parallax website is out of fashion, my dear. Abdul, it's totally Parallax. There used to be a Parallax. Yes, Parallax looks also great, but nowadays it is out of fashion. Yeah, they can introduce some Parallax over here. They could have at least done that to maybe show the content below. Okay. So this was the part of the discoverability. So in discoverability, we have three options, not three options, three sub-contents. One is visibility, one is focus and noticeability, and the third is scroll support design. Okay, so we have discussed simplicity. We have discussed what's the next part? Tell me guys, what's the next part? Consistency. Then we have discussed, guys, we just now discussed discoverability. Okay. Okay, so when we have discoverability, now we can go ahead and talk about the very next thing, which is structure. How does structure works? So everybody must be working in an organization wherein they are dealing with huge number of data. And the data could be of anything. It could be a data related to deployments, the number of time you go ahead and deploy your product. The data could be related to number of customers buying the product, the same product from you again and again, if it is a B2B customer. And if it is a B2C customer in an e-commerce, then that's another kind of data. So it's very much important that you go ahead and chunk or categorize your data in a form of elements. And it is going to help you to create a good mental model for the user. Because what will happen is, so first of all, data is usually seen by, or like I would say out of 100%, 80% of the people who are working in a huge companies, they deal with these kind of problems that they want to categorize or chunk their data in a particular way that it could create some kind of mental model. Okay. Remaining 20% are the customers where B2C comes into existence. So that's what we are going to discuss over here. We are going to discuss how are we going to go ahead and bring this kind of feature in our design. Okay, so this is my favorite character, Joy Tribbiani, and he wanted to buy something else, but he bought something else for his Thanksgiving. And this is, and it says Thanksgiving pants, trousers, I would say. So when we go ahead and talk about heuristics, we talk about grouping and them with division or categories. Okay, so we talk about dividing them, we create columns, we create rows, we categorize them to one thing, then we decategorize them, and we go ahead and put a group in it. And then we give a proper order to it. Order is like number one, number two, number three, number four, that kind of order. Okay, a very good example which I would give it to you is in the main menu. There are no categories over here. This is one of the websites I saw in India. Okay, and this is like a small medium business in uh, one of the places over here in Gujarat. So uh, they have opened a shop and they wanted to have a website as well for the same. And this is how they have created a website. And there was no categorization to it, categorization done for this, which actually doesn't make any sense. Okay, because you don't want user to keep on searching for the categories or for the number of names. Okay, so this is a very good example over here. They could have categorized it, or they could have given a common search related to what kind of jeans they are looking out for, what kind of trousers they are looking out for. Okay, has anyone come across this? No, right? Okay, so this is one of the courses offered by the colleges in Denmark. So over here, what they have done is they have chunked it together, all the courses. And it is, and as I said, chunking is not good. Okay, if you're going ahead with chunking, okay, it is, your brain cannot handle those stuff. So it is very much important that you go ahead and make sure that chunking should be done in a proper order or should be categorized accordingly. Now, I think we have gone overboard with our timing, I believe, Ms. Ahuja.
Yes, a little.
Yes, a little. Okay. Uh, See, this is how it is. When you go ahead and start talking about the design, and this is how you start talking about the audit, this is
Right.
what happens. But I'll go ahead and finish one part, which is clarity.
Sure,
Would
sure.
be like I won't take much time on that part because clarity is something okay, no, that is huge.
No
Clarity is
worries.
huge, guys. Go ahead with huge part right now. Clarity, it depends on people. I don't want to eat their time. Abdul, Variable, Jose, Aniket, please go ahead. Okay, please go ahead. Thank you, Jose, for that. So the next part is, so this is the last part altogether, which is called as so as of now. So my last topic, like, what was I talking about? I was talking about the chunking. So too many options are overwhelming, and none of them can be deleted. So when you are actually creating these kind of things, make sure you chunk it in a meaningful groups. So that's what I would say about chunking. Okay, the next part is the clarity part. The clarity is something which you are trying to create the more understandable, accurate, and ambiguous part of the design, which could communicate. Okay, having a proper separate components, okay, where the text and all everything is visible. So when we talk about it, this is the kind of, like, information that we are looking out for. Now, if we talk about clarity, it has a lot of part. It has comprehensibility, and comprehensibility itself, it has four more points. Then it has visual clarity. Okay, and that would be all. Okay, so when we talk about comprehensibility, it talks about uh, it is divided into four parts. One is intelligibility. Second part is severability. Then it is then information available. What kind of information is available, and the context. So you can see this image, right? So when I'm talking about text, links, labels, menu items. So first of all, let me talk about intelligibility over here. Okay. So I'm talking about text, links. I'm talking about menu items. No, these are the things which cause confusion if they are incomprehensible. Okay. Over here, drop down is one of the uh, things that is not supposed to happen for, writing your phone number. They are incomprehensible, they are inaccurate, highly ambiguous, and way too generalized. It's not required. You can just type in your numbers, right? Okay. Severe, when we talk about severability, at that point of time, uh, there are a lot of things there which is difficult to understand. If there is any kind of content in a form, okay, and you are required to fill that form out, how would you know? How would you know that form is going, that in a form you are required to fill that form out, and that, any particular field is required to be filled, and that requires your maybe address. You go ahead with the name, right? That you have to enter the address in that particular field. Okay. So those kind of elements and isolations are supposed to be clear. Okay. Now then we go ahead with information available. This is something we talk about, information which are missing, which are incomplete, and including missing help text and lack of feedback provides huge amount of ambiguity. So that is something we need to take care of. I could go ahead and give a little bit more information towards it, but I think uh, we have a time constraint over here, but I'm trying to make it fast. Okay, just bear me over there. If you have any questions, you can definitely connect with me. Okay, so the third part is the context. In the context part, when we, context can affect understanding and clarity altogether. So the combination of text, images, menu items, etc., result in a different decoding than if the elements were presented individually. Okay, so again, we are talking about something that it is required to be presented in a way to create a proper information for the user. Okay, a very good example is over here. Touchpoint Tech. This is the website of one of the design agencies. Okay, I just took a part of it and I'm just displaying it to you. What all do they offer? So there are too many things they are offering, but they are not actually following the four main things, which is context, information available, severability, and intelligibility. It means the comprehensibility of the whole website of this particular design agency has gone for a toss. Okay, another example which all of us know. Okay, all of you have this, what do you call, LinkedIn, right? So in LinkedIn, when you try to connect to a person, what does it say? Connect, correct? Please, guys, tell me. I'm unable to recall it. Yes, definitely. I'm with the clarity right now. So I'm giving a very common examples over here related to comprehensibility. So in comprehensibility, we talk about the websites which actually try to give information to the user in a certain way, but they are failing big time to make the user understand. Very good example is LinkedIn. Could you please tell me what is the, yeah, connect. We write connect, right? So what do you mean by connect? Does it mean connect means that, you are going to, that person is trying to uh, have a business with you? No, connect doesn't mean that. But that's what LinkedIn is all about. Getting your business or getting your profile in LinkedIn. What, like, why do you go ahead and have profile in LinkedIn? To show your capabilities, to show your what all you can, what all you have achieved. Okay. And why would a person come to you? A person would come to you for some kind of business, or for some kind of coaching, or for some kind of other stuff. Why a word connect? So over here, connect is missing out with the proper related information that I can have with that person. And in order to go ahead and fill that blank, Connect has, LinkedIn has given a messaging system, a chat box system, because they do not want to go ahead and change that word anymore. So that's the reason why they have come up with a chat box, so that they can go ahead and fill in that gap. But still, Connect means something else. It does not mean, you know what, if you go to a matrimony site, over there also it will say connect. You are connecting for a marriage proposal or something like that. No, right? So connect gives a different meaning altogether. Okay, so maybe we need to work on that. Interested in. Okay, maybe yes. Interested in. We could have that. So that's what clarity is all about. Number one, comprehensibility. Very important thing. You have to make sure your words should relate to the content which you are showing. And that's where these 4 parameters come into picture. I gave an example related to the touch points taxonomy. That's one of the declaring agency. Now this is another one, okay, this is, I would say these are the information which is like in a different language. I would not go ahead and proceed with this. Okay, this is another thing. The SN type is not corresponding. What is SN? I do not know the meaning of SN. So again, this is again like, something that we need to work on. Not we, as in people who are designing an application, that the context, the comprehensibility should be clear. Okay, so this was the clarity part. Now that's all with the clarity. Any questions with the clarity, guys? Jose? Jose, Abdul, Santosh, please tell me any questions. Can we give them? I know it's already close to 9:30 now. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. We still have 10 minutes if you want to ask any question. We're here.
Yes, we still have 10 minutes. Great, we have 10 minutes. So how many people do we have over here?
So we started, I think, with around 45, 50. But right now we have last 12 women.
Oh, okay. And no questions, it seems.
No questions. I think no, actually, it was a pretty detailed presentation. I think it was the most, I don't know the correct word, but most detailed workshop we ever had on heuristics. This is the first one. This is so detailed.
I just
So,
wanted to make sure that people coming down over here should learn something. Otherwise, it would happen.
right. Summary, simplicity,
Okay.
consistency, discovery, structure, clarity.
So I thank to the person who actually made this, who extracted this heuristics. His name is Borge Christensen. He's from Denmark. So he extracted. He's also usability analyst, and he did this. So I'm in regular touch with him. He actually told, he gave me the information in detail, and I
Mhm.
love to share this information with the people. Okay.
Actually,
You
it's
guys,
you have so different, examples, so many different resources, and each and every mapped out very correctly.
yeah,
In fact, the one thing is the connect word, the example that you just gave, like that they're not able to change it now, so they're adding a special text box. Okay, add a special note.
yeah. I mean, this was when it was brought to me. I was like, oh, really? Yeah, they are actually context part they failed over there. But yeah, they're still working, right?
Right.
We cannot say that design is 100%, but in the beginning, it was a huge problem. So yes, guys, if you guys would like to connect with me, you can get connected to me over LinkedIn. I am all the time available over there. Some of the people I have come across over here, Abdul, uh, he knows me he has been my mentee um, during his college times. Now he's been placed to a college. Congratulations, Abdul. So there are other students as well, which I can see they are here. Yeah,
I think there were 10
please.
people. I would want to give a shout out to them. They were so interested that they didn't care about time. It's always there. No matter how late you'll get, there'll always be those 5 to 10 students or the
Uh,
learners who are like, I want to end this. I want to understand the entirety of this. So I think thank you guys
great,
for
great.
supporting us, and for that reason, I think that's the only motivation that pushes us on keep on onboarding, mentors like Animesh today. And I am I am I am also, thinking about having Animesh do a master class with us. So I think that would be
I'll be
really,
more
really
than
great.
happy. It would be an honor altogether. I could talk about why UX fails all the time, especially in India, in our
Right,
country. That is something we need
right,
to take care of, and I would definitely
right.
like to talk about those things and these things as well, because this I have shared with you. It's not a complete doc altogether. Okay, if I go ahead and share the complete doc, it will take 2.5 hours altogether. So that is a different thing. Okay, so if you guys want to know why UX fails, okay, and if you guys want to know what are the remaining 4 heuristics, you can select the topic and you can approach Rashi. I should say Mr. Huja, because I might be getting wrong with your name, I believe, Rashi. So that's why.
Oh, that's completely
Okay,
cool.
so please. So these are the 2 topics that I can go ahead and thank you, Jose. Thank you so much that I can
Thank you
go ahead
so
and help
much.
you out, help you guys with.
Cool. I
Uh,
think thank you so much, Animesh, for doing this with us, and thank you for such a detailed session, that too on a Friday night.
yeah, Friday night is good. They're meant to be. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
It was
Riva.
nice meeting you. Hope to see you guys again.
Right.
And thank you so much, Mr.
Thank
Uja.
you
It
so much.
was
And keep following ProApp. We will come up with more such insightful sessions and the masterclass session, which was supposed to be a surprise. But for the 10
yeah, yeah.
people, I think I can lay out that surprise.
Great, great, great.
Cool.
So, these recordings, are you sharing it with anywhere? Like, what are you doing with these
No, we'll
recordings?
we'll we'll upload it on this is a YouTube channel. We upload it on every Wednesday. Then I or
Okay,
else then we can share it with you.
great, great. So, please, your LinkedIn profile. Okay, this is my LinkedIn profile. Thank you, Abdul.
Cool.
If you guys like to have more information, you can connect through me through ProApp, or you can connect through me through LinkedIn. ProApp you can download and install. It's a really good application.
Right.
So
I
I
think
would suggest.
I think this is almost around our 55th workshop, I believe. Yes. and
Oh, nice.
a 55th or 52nd workshop, I think. Yes, but I think because of mentors like you and the community itself, it is going so strong. And the evolution is design is happening like the IT evolution happened in the early 2000s, right? Where everyone was
Exactly.
running towards IT. And
True, true,
now
true, true.
people don't know about design, they want to get educated. And that's
Exactly.
where people like you come in. And I still feel that the community feeling over here, I've been in the IT community too and now here, but the community over feeling over here is too strong. I think that force is too strong.
Thank you, Chetpali. Thank you, Santosh. You're a fan of ProApp. Okay, great. I'm
Thank
a
you so
fan
much,
of
sir.
I'm a fan of ProApp, maybe through Miss Ahuja because of for giving me this opportunity to, meet you guys. Thank you, Chetpali. It was an insight. So let me know what you guys need in the next session. I'll be more than happy. We still have four more parameters to finish, other than clarity. So we can start, or we can have a good discussion over why UX fails. We can discuss those as well. So
Right,
let me know.
definitely yes. Definitely yes. There is going to be a survey form towards the end. They can share it over there. And we can
Yeah,
share it
that'd be
there.
nice.
Cool.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Okay,
Okay.
thank you guys. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for your
much.
time. It was an amazing
Enjoy the
session.
weekend.
Nice meeting you, Miss Ahuja. Okay,
Same
hope to
here.
see you
Same
again.
here. Yes,
Okay.
definitely yes.
Thank
Cool.
you, people. You guys are great.
You too. Enjoy the weekend.